Hello everybody, welcome back to not necessarily a venture from Charlie's Adventures, but this is kind of a debut, I guess. Alright, for about 4 years now I've been limping along on a Cub Cadet mower, mowing this hill that behind my house. It's not a bad hill, but it's, it's just on borderline. With the zero turn, you would end up sliding most of the time, and it got to the point I was having to mow sideways instead up and down. If you tried to go down it, the zero turn would just take off and take you to the bottom most of the time. So I just got in the habit of mowing side to side, and it would try to scoot, and then you ended up with ruts and this, that, and another. So I finally pulled the trigger, and I've done a little thinking and researching on what would be the best alternative, or what would be the best mower for me here. And I already knew that I didn't want over a 52 to 54 inch cut. That was as big a deck as I wanted. So I already knew that. So I done a little researching, done a little thinking, and it took me a while. And like I said, I limped that Cub Cadet Recon 48 inch cut along for, this would have been the 4th year. And finally I decided I got tired of it. I got mad every time I'd come back here and try to mow down this hill. So what I ended up with is a grasshopper out front mower. Now this is by no means the largest one they make. It's a 623T, and the T's over there on that side. But anyway, I don't really know what the T stands for. It's 23 horsepower, Kohler. And these mowers are a little different because it's the mower, the engine don't lay flat, it's up, and I guess you'd call that a horizontal shaft instead of a vertical shaft. I got the good suspension seat. That's one thing that I did want, and I'm glad I got it. I've got 8.5 hours on it now, so I've mowed with it twice. I got the crossbar tires, and what I like about this mower is all your weight is on the drive tires, pretty much, And like I said, I got a 52 inch deck. This is called the Pro Fold Duramax deck, 52 inch, and it's got this electric actuator here. You have to hold this piece up. You pull this up, and then you actuate it right here. And the deck folds up, and you can get to the blades right there. You ain't gotta fool with the nut or bolt on both sides of the deck. You just take that bolt out right there, and the blades comes off from one side. So I'm pretty happy with that too, easy maintenance. And I hit a rock the other day. I'm gonna have to pull these blades and sharpen them pretty soon. I come up on a rock and it hit it a little bit, but that's just part of it. But so far I am real happy with it. Takes some getting used to, because when you mow, whenever you go around something, you're liable to swing these back wheels into something. You just got to kind of watch it and get used to it. And they come standard with one wheel in the center right here. Well, this is an extra option. The guy that sold it to me told me that it'd feel much more stable with this double, so I opted for that too. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Been a pretty good long time of coming of getting a good decent mower. And you know, the Cub Cadets, for what they were, I mean, it lasted a pretty good long time. But, you know, I don't know, I just felt like it was time. And right here's the hill. And here a little later on, I'm getting ready to mow them. When I get to here, I'm going to set a tripod up and do a time lapse of me mowing this hill. And I'm down here at the deer feeder at the bottom of the hill. My neighbor is across the creek. But I'm going to give you a little backstory on this thing, or on getting this mower. I'm going to give a little plug to the guys at where I bought it. I did a Google search and knew what I wanted. I knew which model I wanted. I wanted the 623T. Didn't want a huge mower. You know, I just got 1 acre here to mow. So I knew I wanted the 52, 54 inch cut. I knew I wanted a decent seat. And I knew I wanted the 2 wheels in the back here. I knew that. So, and I knew I wanted the power fold deck. I knew pretty much what I wanted. Crossbar tires. I know I wanted those. Anyway, I did a Google search for dealers, grasshopper dealers near me. Well, I'm not going to call out names here, but I'm going to tell you, I got down to number 6 before I found somebody to sell me a mower. That's kind of a shame. Everybody wanted you to buy what they had in stock. Nobody wanted to get you what you wanted. You know, I knew what I wanted. Nobody didn't want to do it. I started out with the number 1, and I called them and told them what I was looking for. And the guy that was talking to me told me they were in Crossville, Tennessee. They told me that they would get back to me, and to this day they've not called me back. If they did, they didn't leave me a voicemail. I don't have my phone at work, so as far as I know, they've not called me back. They was going to check into getting what I wanted, this 623T. But anyway, I went to number 2, and that was in Harriman, and they didn't have one there and didn't even offer to help me get one. And I went on down the line. And like I said, I went to number 5 or number 6, and finally ended up in Albany, Kentucky. And I can't remember the name. It was Full Color something. They do paint too, I think, and outdoor. They sell implements and tractors. You know, I'll put the name of the place in the description. Should already know that, and I can't remember it. But might have been Full Color LLC or something. I'll just put that in the description and maybe scroll it through on the video here when I get to it. But anyway, long story short, I got down to him, called him. He spent time with me on the phone, talking about it. Told him what I was looking for. He didn't have one in stock, but he did tell me he could get me one. He told me he'd get me one, I can't remember. I think he told me 2 weeks. Anyway, he told me that it ended up coming a lot sooner than that. He might have told me 4 weeks or 4 weeks, and he got it in less than 2. But he told me he tells people that to keep from saying I'll get it, and then if it takes a little longer, then he's covered. You know, he said he'd rather get something earlier than what he said than later. But anyway, I'm happy with this thing so far. And actually, I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to Google search what the name of his business is, and that way I'll have that right out and open right now. But I'm probably not supposed to say this on YouTube, and I'm just going to leave it a hint, and then you can figure it out for yourself about if you're in Tennessee close to him. You can buy a mower and he can save you some money from Uncle Sam. And how they do that, here's what happened. I purchased a mower from him, and he met me in Stearns. It wasn't Stern. Well, I've drew a blank there too. Static, Tennessee. He met me in Static, Tennessee with the mower, and it saved me some money. I'll let you figure out how. So I knew what I wanted, got it from him. He delivered it to me across the state line in Tennessee, saved me some money. So right now I'm going to pause the video, and I'll let you know what the name of his business is. I hear something coming at me here in the woods here. I don't know what's headed my way, but there's something. But anyhow, I'll be right back. Alright, I figured out what that was up above me. It was somebody dragging brush, not something. Anyway, the name of the business is Albany Auto Color. They're also a grasshopper dealer. So Albany Auto Color. I'll try to link them, their number and stuff in the description. But anyway, I'm gonna let this deck back down. I'm gonna go up here and start mowing. When I get back here to the back of the hill, I'll put the camera on tripod, and I'll do a time lapse. Alright, around here to the back, mower. that I'm noticing. You can see all the debris up on the deck, which ain't a big deal. Cub Cadet, Zero Turn done the same thing, but they do offer, they call it a air dam system for this deck. I'm thinking about getting it, and they say it practically eliminates this stuff up on the deck and blowing up on you. So I'm thinking about trying it and see, but so far I'm tickled to death with this thing. Alright, well, that'll do it for this episode of Charlie's Adventure. And we'll get back to you on the next video. Everybody be safe. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.